So I got a lovely package sent to me by Himi, and yeah, I'm so excited to try these out. Look at the color of this set. Oh my god, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's the apple green 72 color gouache. So let's try it out. They also sent I'm so excited to try this. So they also sent me this paper. You get 90 sheets and it's 9 by 12 inches, 180 GSM. I'm so freaking excited to try these. So yeah, let's get unboxing. We'll start with the paint first. Ooh, how do you open it? I don't want to break it. Oh, look at the colors. I'm so excited. How do you open it? Is it this? Oh! Oh my goodness. Oh, and then it's the other side. Ta-da! Look at all of them. What I'm gonna do is flip them over. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Ta-da! That's so satisfying. Wow. Look at all of these colors. That's incredible. Wow. Okay. Now the hardest part of these paints, I'm gonna have to open each and every one of them. So let's get to paints. I'm gonna open this so I can use one of the papers to basically swatch the paint. So let's open up the paper and see what it says. Oh, this is so satisfying. I didn't realize it actually down. That's amazing. Oh my god, that's even better than I thought. No wonder it's so good. That's amazing. Hurry up. Okay. No. Oh my god. That was way harder than it should have been. Oh my god. I'm in love. I'm in love. Look at the texture. Over on this side, you can see the shadow. This is where the paper is exposed so that you can unstick it. And that's absolutely incredible. So, yeah. I don't know whether I want to do swatches on this or a different kind of paper. Decisions. Okay, so I'm not going to use the nice paper. I'm going to use a loose piece of paper here so that when I'm unsticking these, unwrapping these, I can like make a pattern on this and use it for something else. Hello friends, I'm back with another video. If you're new here, I'm Laura and my art name is tomatoillustrates and I am a mixed media artist. And today I'm going to be doing a little review of the Miya Arts Himi Gouache. This is the 72 color set and it's the apple green and the color is amazing, and they asked me which palette or what product I wanted to try of theirs, and I fell in love with their new green palette, so I had to try it. This was incredibly messy. Yeah, don't wear white when you're unpacking these. It was very messy, but super fun. So, a little backstory of me using these paints. So, this isn't actually my first experience with this paint. I have purchased this paint before, once myself. One was a present, and obviously this one is for the review. And so I remember back in around 2020, 2019, I can't really remember, it was a very long time ago now, I saw this gouache become so popular and I purchased one myself. I think the 18 color set. It was a pink case and I loved it. I used it all the time and it was amazing. I then got another set, I think it was the 56 color set, as a birthday present, and I also loved that paint too. But I did start to run into some issues eventually. After opening the paints, maybe like a couple of years after, the paint didn't work as nice as it did when I first got it. And that makes sense because on the website it says that the shelf life of the Miya Himi gouache, the jelly pots, is 2 to 5 years, which makes sense obviously after opening, and that explains why my gouache wasn't reacting as good as it did when I just got it. Okay, it is time to try out this paper and see what it's like. So I think I'm gonna bend. Oh, I don't know what to do with that. Okay, I think I'm gonna do it that way. And I'm just gonna sketch out something, and then we can paint it. Test out maybe more medias. I'm thinking, I did some doodles today, and I think I might do this guy here with all the little vines. I don't know, I kind of found it interesting. So I might do something like this on here. Maybe do a little frame around it so that I can make it like more of a piece. I'm not sure. We'll see. So here you can also see the little damages to the paper pad. Obviously this is a thick boy, and the sides got damaged, I'm guessing in transit, which is not a big deal, but also, you know, you'd want your paper to arrive perfect condition. But I hope that the corners will only be affected to the first couple of pages and it will be fine for the rest of them. But yeah, so you also saw me looking at some brushes. So those brushes are 2 sets. So I purchased one of those, and one of that set was actually included with the pink set, the very first one I ever got. And I don't know why they've stopped including brushes in their sets already, but you can purchase them separately, which is a shame. Also, another thing I noticed, the palette, it only came in the small set, the 18 color, the very first one as well, with the brushes. So I got the paints, I got a palette, and I also got brushes. I don't know why they don't do that anymore. But yeah, it's a shame because it's nice to have like a new palette. I know that you can buy it all separately, but it's just nice to have it included in the set, I guess. But yeah, that's just what I noticed with these recent sets. Okay guys, I just wanted to pop in and say, do you see how nicely watercolor goes on this paper? I'm actually so impressed. The watercolor stays wet for quite a while. And that's something I noticed in the Arches paper. I hadn't really seen this before in any of the other ones, and that's actually really impressive, which means that it doesn't suck up all the water straight away. And I feel like that's something that happens with the cotton paper, and Oh my god, this is so pleasant to paint with watercolor on. I want to see how well it's going to react with different medium in the future, but so far, like, do you see that lovely grainy texture? Like, usually I'm not a big fan of texture, but this is somewhere in between. It's not like watercolor paper, like cold pressed watercolor paper with just a bunch of texture on it, but it's somewhere in between. It's not like super smooth, but it does really remind me of the Arches paper, the hot pressed one, and yeah, so impressive. And yeah, to go back to the first piece a little bit, so the very first one, I did the sketch in my sketchbook. I wanted to test the paints on my sketchbook paper because that's probably where I'm going to be using these paints the most. And yeah, the sketchbook is the Pith, and it's the Cara sketchbook, and I will be honest, the paper and the paint combination was very lovely. I'm definitely going to be painting in it more. And then for the second one, I'm using quite a broad range of media because I wanted to test the paper and see how it reacts. So the very first bit of painting that I did on it with the dark green was a combination of a few tones from the White Nights watercolors, and they are from the tubes, so they are extremely pigmented and there's just no faults in it at all. And the paper, it's incredible. I did not expect this paper to be this good, but granted, I've only done this piece and the little tester at the end, and yeah, I need to try it a bit more, but from first impressions, like, the paper is insanely good. And yeah, so some of the materials that I'm using on this paper are my Holbein watercolors, my Woomer watercolors, and I'm also going in obviously with the color pencil, which was super nice to draw on, like nothing wrong with it. I will say that the texture is a little bit more than like I would buy for myself, but honestly it's not a deal breaker, and I'm extremely pleased with just overall quality of the paper. But at the end you will see that it is on the thinner side. However, all the materials go on it perfectly. As you can see, after it dries, it's completely flat. I didn't put anything over the top of it to flatten it out. As it dried, it just flattened itself out, and it does exactly what it says, and that's extremely impressive. So another material that I used on this paper was my Holbein gouache alongside of the Himi gouache. I wanted to kind of complement and like use it simultaneously so I can see the differences, and obviously they're incomparable. One is a very, very high regarded, like super professional brand, and the other is more of like an art supply that's perfect for beginners and artists, of course. And yeah, the quality of the paints is different, like I can't explain it. So I do find the Himi gouache a little bit less versatile because it's less opaque. Some colors, especially the more lighter colors like the yellows and stuff, they're very much transparent, like they aren't very opaque at all, probably because of the pigments and the things to mix the paints with. And yeah, so it's harder for me. I don't know if anyone else comes across this, but the pure colors like the oranges and the yellows, I find them extremely hard to overlap on the darker colors. So those little flowers that I've got, the red and the orange ones, I found it really hard to overlap with the lighter colors. But other than that, the paints work well. but those are some of the critiques that I have. So if those are deal breakers for you, obviously do your own research. But yeah, from my experience, the paints are lovely, the dark colors are great, they dry pretty nice. They do become a little bit patchy, so you do have to do a couple of layers over the top to kind of even it out a bit more, which is a little bit of extra work compared to other gouache brands. So I had a bit of space on this side and I wanted to kind of experiment and do a few of swatches just to see how the paper reacts to these colors and these different materials. All the colors are lovely, like they're super bright and pigmented, and it was definitely going to be a surprise to see if anything's bled through, especially with the Ohuhu Pupe markers, which are paper friendly, but I was just super interested to see what they're going to react like. But as you can see, I struggled to get the paper off, and I did do a little bit of damage, but I don't know if it's the paper pad's fault because I was using a palette knife, and I did switch to a ruler and that actually worked a lot better, so I need to try it out on the next paper. But for this one I do a little bit of damage, but it's not really that big of a deal because I cut around it anyway. So the square that I colored in was 6 by 6 and half an inch around as a border, and obviously I had an extra piece, so I just experimented on it. As you saw as well, there is literally no bleed through. But yes, I fear that the Arctic's acrylic markers, or just acrylic markers in general, might not be very good for this paper because there was a little bit of pilling, but I did manage to scrape some of it off. But yeah, if you know, that's not really a big deal breaker for me. However, this is the end of the video and I hope you enjoyed this little review. I know it's not perfect, but I hope you enjoyed watching me create these pieces, and thank you again to Miya Arts for sending me these lovely art supplies, and I'm so thankful, and I hope that this review helped. And yeah, overall the art supplies are wonderful. There is obviously a few faults here and there, but for the price point you can't really go wrong. Thank you guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.